Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone to today's fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where history, minting processes, and accidental mistakes can transform a simple piece of pocket change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Imagine holding a dime in your hand, something so ordinary and familiar, yet realizing that instead of being worth just 10 cents, it could be valued at an astonishing $10 million. That is the story surrounding the rare 1991 D1 dime coin, a small silver-colored piece of United States currency that has become the center of collectors' dreams, historical intrigue, and numismatic fortune. Today we will explore everything about this remarkable coin, from the background of its minting to the types of errors and mistakes that could cause such astronomical value, the mysteries behind mint mark anomalies, and why collectors and investors see it as one of the most incredible finds in modern US coinage. This journey will not only uncover the details of the 1991 D-dime itself but will also give you insights into the larger world of coin collecting where accidents become treasures and simple objects become history-making artifacts. To understand why the 1991 D1 dime could ever reach a valuation of $10 million, we must first set the stage with the story of the Roosevelt dime. After the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1945, the U.S. Mint wanted to honor him with a coin that would symbolize his leadership during difficult times and his association with the March of Dimes, which raised funds to fight polio. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime, and it has been in circulation ever since with only minor design modifications. By 1991, the dime was already a well-established piece of American currency, struck in huge numbers every year at multiple mints, including Denver, which is where the 1991 D-dime was produced. Most dimes struck in Denver in 1991 are entirely ordinary, produced from copper-nickel-clad compositions and worth no more than their face value in circulation. But the key to this story is that not every coin produced comes out perfect. Mistakes happen, errors slip through, and sometimes mint mark anomalies create variations so rare that collectors worldwide will fight for the chance to own them. In the case of the 1991 D-dime, those errors and anomalies have elevated what should have been a common coin into something extraordinary. When we talk about a dime worth $10 million, the obvious question is what could possibly justify such a price for a coin that was struck in the millions? The answer lies in minting errors, die varieties, planchet issues, and mint mark mistakes that together create extreme rarity. Some errors can be visually striking, like off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, double strikes where the coin is hit more than once by the dies, or die cracks that create raised lines across the coin's surface. Others are subtler but even rarer, such as mispunched mint marks, overdates, or transitional planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal. For a 1991 D-dime to reach the incredible valuation of $10 million, it would likely combine several of these factors into one unique coin, something so distinctive that no other example exists. In the world of numismatics, uniqueness and condition drive value, and when a single surviving coin tells a story of historical error or minting anomaly, it can become priceless to collectors. Mint mark errors are particularly fascinating because they tell a story of human intervention and oversight. Before 1990, mint marks were hand-punched into the working dies by mint employees, meaning variations and mistakes were common. But after 1990, the process was modernized so that mint marks became part of the master die. That makes a 1991 D-dime especially interesting because technically, no hand-punched mint mark errors should exist after 1990. Yet if a mistake were to occur, such as a misplaced or doubled mint mark, it would be an anomaly of incredible importance. A double D mint mark on a 1991 dime, for example, would be virtually unheard of, making it an object of intense study and collector desire. Some researchers also suggest that leftover dies from 1990 could have been accidentally used in 1991, creating transitional anomalies that only the sharpest eyes could identify. Such possibilities fuel the idea that one or more 1991 D-dimes exist with errors so extraordinary they could command values in the millions. Beyond mint mark anomalies, another pathway to rarity lies in planchet errors. A planchet is the blank piece of metal upon which the coin's design is struck. While the intended composition for 1991 dimes was copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, mistakes sometimes led to coins being struck on leftover silver planchets from decades prior, or even on foreign coin blanks. Imagine a 1991 D-dime accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchette that somehow found its way into the Denver Mint presses. The contrast between its intended composition and its actual metal content would make it an incredible error, and with the scrutiny collectors give to every detail, such a coin could easily be authenticated and elevated to legendary status. Even more exotic are off-metal strikes where a dime is struck on a planchette meant for another denomination, such as a cent or a foreign coin. These spectacular minting accidents are one of a kind and push values into the millions due to their rarity. Collectors also prize double die errors, where the design elements such as the lettering, numbers, or portrait appear double due to misalignment in the die hubbing process. A double die on a 1991 D-dime showing Roosevelt's profile slightly shifted or the words Liberty or In God We Trust appearing doubled would immediately attract national attention. If only a single coin with such an error surfaced, the bidding war among collectors could easily propel its value to astronomical heights. Add in the fact that the dime is such a widely recognized coin, and the allure of owning a never-before-seen error becomes irresistible. Condition plays an equally important role. A coin with a spectacular error but heavy wear may be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands, but a pristine uncirculated example with such an error could break records. For a coin to reach the $10 million mark, it would have to be both rare in its error and exceptional in its preservation. Let us also consider historical and market factors that contribute to such high valuations. The numismatic market thrives on stories, and the story of a coin mistakenly created by the US Mint, surviving unnoticed in circulation, and then being discovered decades later resonates with collectors. People love the idea that a $10 million treasure might be sitting in their pocket change, waiting to be found. This narrative drives demand, fuels auctions, and pushes prices higher than anyone might have expected. The 1991 D-dime, because of its relatively recent minting date, connects the world of modern collectors to the possibility that extraordinary rarity is not just a thing of ancient coins or centuries-old errors but can happen in the coins we use every day. That sense of discovery, combined with a growing interest in rare coin investment, helps explain why such a coin could achieve such staggering value. We also cannot ignore the influence of previous record-setting coins. When collectors see that a 1943 copper penny sold for over $1 million or that rare double eagle gold coins have fetched tens of millions, it establishes a precedent. Coins become not only objects of history but also assets in the world of high finance, drawing in investors who want to own a piece of tangible history with guaranteed rarity. In this context, a unique 1991 D-dime with an extraordinary error becomes more than just a coin. It becomes an artifact, a conversation piece, and an investment comparable to fine art or rare jewels. The marketplace for such treasures is global, with wealthy collectors from every continent competing for ownership. In such bidding wars, prices can soar well beyond the expected, making a valuation of $10 million plausible. The story of the 1991 D-dime also opens up broader questions about the minting process and how human and mechanical errors can slip through in such a highly controlled environment. The US Mint produces billions of coins each year with precision machinery and quality control measures, yet no system is perfect. When a rare mistake escapes detection, it serves as a reminder that human oversight and mechanical limitations still play a role in coinage. Collectors cherish these flaws because they humanize the minting process and provide tangible proof that even mass production can produce one-of-a-kind treasures. Every die crack, every misplaced digit, and every off-metal strike becomes part of a story of imperfection that elevates an ordinary object into something extraordinary. In the end, the 1991 D-dime worth $10 million stands as a symbol of the incredible potential hidden in everyday objects. It is a reminder that history, rarity, error, and human curiosity can combine to create value far beyond material worth. For collectors, the hunt for such coins is not only about financial investment but also about the thrill of discovery, the appreciation of history, and the passion for detail. Whether it is a double die, a misplaced mint mark, a planchette error, or some combination of these anomalies, the rare 1991 D-dime captures the imagination like few other coins can. Its story is still unfolding as collectors continue to search, study, and speculate about what variations might exist and what treasures might still be out there waiting to. Today we're going to dive deep into the story of the 1998 Roosevelt dime, a coin that at first glance appears to be nothing more than the everyday 10-cent piece you might get back as change at the store, but in rare circumstances, specific versions of this coin have been valued as high as $7 million because of errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and other unique possibilities that make it so sought after by collectors. This is not just a story about money, but about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovering something extraordinary in something so ordinary. The 1998 P dime belongs to the Roosevelt dime series that began in 1946 after President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's passing. His portrait was placed on the dime both to honor his legacy and to commemorate his strong association with the March of Dimes campaign. Over the decades, billions of Roosevelt dimes have been struck, and the 1998 Philadelphia minted dime is part of that massive production. However, what makes certain examples of this particular year so fascinating and astronomically valuable are the rare errors and mint mark anomalies that slipped through quality control and into circulation. These mistakes turned a coin worth just 10 cents into one valued at millions by collectors around the world. To really understand why a 1998 P dime could be worth $7 million, we need to explore the different categories of mint errors that transform ordinary coins into numismatic treasures. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, whether it's with the die, the planchette, or the striking process itself. These errors can result in coins that look unusual, sometimes dramatically so, and collectors place enormous value on rarity, uniqueness, and condition. For the 1998 P dime, several classes of errors can appear, and each one can significantly increase the coin's desirability. Let's begin with die errors. A die is the engraved piece of metal used to strike the design onto blank planchets. Over time, dies wear out, crack, clash, or even break. One of the most valuable forms of die error is the double die, where the design is accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles, producing a doubled image. A 1998 P dime with clear double die features, particularly on Roosevelt's profile, the lettering, or the torch on the reverse, could command astronomical sums. Collectors prize such pieces because they are both visually striking and relatively rare. Another possible die error is a die crack, where a split in the die transfers raised lines onto the coin, making unique patterns that distinguish it from standard dimes. Another major class of error involves planchets. A planchette is the blank metal disc before the design is struck. Sometimes, planchets are improperly prepared or even sourced incorrectly. There are known cases where dimes were struck on penny planchets, foreign coin planchets, or even experimental blanks. Imagine finding a 1998 P dime that was struck on a copper penny planchette, giving it a reddish tone instead of the usual silver appearance. Such dramatic errors instantly turn the coin into a prized collectible. Off-metal errors are among the most desirable of all minting mistakes, and examples from 1998 could easily fetch millions at auction. Then we have striking errors. During the minting process, if a coin is not properly aligned or fed into the press, a number of different mistakes can occur. Off-center strikes are a common but collectible error, where part of the design is missing because the planchette was not centered. Broad strikes occur when the collar that normally restrains the coin is absent, causing the design to expand beyond its usual boundaries. A 1998 P dime with a severe off-center strike, especially if both the date and mint mark remain visible, would be a rare and valuable find. Mint mark anomalies are another fascinating element that collectors love to study. In 1998, dimes from the Philadelphia Mint carried the P mint mark, located just above the date. Sometimes, mint marks were punched incorrectly, creating overpunched mint marks, repunched mint marks, or mint marks that appear doubled. In rare cases, coins struck in Philadelphia could even lack the mint mark altogether, creating a no-mint mark variety that collectors scramble to obtain. If such a no-mint mark 1998 dime exists, it would undoubtedly be valued in the millions because of its extreme rarity. Condition also plays a huge role in determining value. A coin graded at the highest levels, such as mint state 68 or 69, is far rarer than one in circulated condition. When you combine pristine condition with dramatic errors or anomalies, the value skyrockets. A 1998 P dime with a dramatic double die or off-metal error, preserved in nearly flawless mint state, could easily be the $7 million example we are discussing. It's important to note that coin collecting isn't just about monetary value. Each rare coin tells a story, and collectors are drawn to the history and mystery behind each piece. The 1998 P dime is no exception. In the late 1990s, the US Mint was producing billions of coins annually, and quality control was much tighter than in earlier decades. This makes significant errors from that period even rarer, because fewer mistakes slipped through the cracks. That rarity, combined with collector demand, creates the perfect conditions for astronomical value. Let's imagine the thrill of someone discovering such a coin in their change. Perhaps it had been sitting unnoticed in a jar of dimes for decades, passed from hand to hand without anyone realizing its true worth. Then, one day, a sharp-eyed collector or a curious individual spots something unusual. Maybe the dime looks slightly off, maybe the mint mark is missing, or maybe the design shows doubling under magnification. That single moment of discovery transforms a 10-cent coin into a life-changing treasure worth millions. The appeal of coins like the 1998 p-dime lies in their ability to capture both the imagination and the practical interest of collectors. It combines rarity, era significance, historical context, and condition into a perfect storm of desirability. That's why some examples are valued at $7 million, making them among the most valuable dimes ever produced. Beyond the errors themselves, part of the fascination is in the detective work required to uncover them. Collectors often use magnifying glasses, microscopes, and specialized guides to study every detail of a coin, searching for die doubling, mint mark anomalies, or other subtle signs of rarity. The 1998 p-dime invites this kind of investigation because its production year is known to contain potential errors that can dramatically change the coin's value. As with all rare coins, provenance matters too. Coins with a well-documented history of discovery, grading, and auction results tend to achieve higher prices because collectors value authenticity and traceability. A 1998 p-dime with certified documentation of its error and an exceptional grade from a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC would command the highest prices at auction. We can also think about how market demand affects value. The numismatic market has grown tremendously in recent decades, with more collectors entering the hobby and competing for rare coins. As demand increases while supply remains fixed or diminishes, the value naturally rises. That's why coins that might have been worth thousands in the 1980s are now worth millions in today's market. The 1998 p-dime is a perfect example of this trend, with its potential value of $7 million reflecting not just rarity but also the intensity of collector demand. Some may wonder how a dime, struck in the billions, can hold such extraordinary value. The answer lies in the very nature of minting errors. While billions of normal 1998 p-dimes exist, the number of error examples is vanishingly small, sometimes only a handful or even a single coin. That extreme rarity in a sea of ordinary coins is what makes them so valuable. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except that needle could change your life forever. Collectors also enjoy categorizing and comparing errors across different years. The 1998 p-dime, with its potential $7 million value, stands alongside other famous error coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die cent, or the 2004 Wisconsin quarter with the extra leaf. Each of these coins represents a unique mistake that became legendary in numismatic circles. The 1998 p-dime joins this prestigious list as one of the modern era's most fascinating and valuable minting errors. When discussing such coins, it's also important to consider counterfeits. Because of the high values involved, unscrupulous individuals sometimes try to alter coins to mimic genuine errors. That's why authentication and grading by professional services are critical. Collectors must be careful to ensure their 1998 p-dime is authentic before assuming it carries million-dollar value. Genuine error coins are rare and valuable, while counterfeits are worth only their face value. This brings us to another point, the role of collectors themselves. The value of a coin is ultimately determined by what someone is willing to pay for it. Auctions often reveal the true market value of rare coins, and in many cases, spirited bidding drives the price far higher than expected. If a particularly stunning example of a 1998 p-dime with dramatic errors were to appear at auction, it's entirely possible that multiple wealthy collectors would compete for it, pushing the final hammer price into the multi-million-dollar range. Stories like this highlight the romance of coin collecting. It's not just about owning pieces of metal, but about holding history, rarity, and potential fortune in the palm of your hand. The 1998 p-dime symbolizes all of this.